Oh, way to start a video. Hey guys, how's it going? Drylac here, coming at you with my first ever YouTube video, actually. We are going over a Death's Oath build. I wanted to kind of address my build since I've seen quite a few people building it recently, this league and all that. Partly because MBXTreme, I believe is how you say his name. He has used it as a magic find character for his Crimson Temple project. Uh, you know, really great build that he's got there. I actually ended up doing something very similar with mine, um, and I started mine because I actually dropped the chess piece on one of my other characters, and I decided I wanted to take try at building something around it. Um, So this is kind of what I came up with, but I also did take some inspiration from MBXTreme. Um, and so I can't take full credit for the build, but I did do a few things differently. Just, excuse me, because of uh, how I leveled, this character and already had some of the skills going and chose not to change what I was doing. Um, Too much. So basically, as you'll see, not a whole lot different in the passive tree from what I did compared to MBXTreme. Uh, I did end up using a Transcendent Mine, Cobalt Jewel. This part does make the build a little bit expensive, uh, but not too terribly bad. A little less than an Exalt on that. Um, about a little more than half, I guess, of an Exalt. Uh, and then, yeah, so that gives us a lot of dot damage there. I did end up using a Gloria's Vanity, which I believe I paid like 10 Chaos for, if I remember correctly. Ended up having to go through a lot of people to get one. Very important that it is in the name of Zibakwa, though, because that gives you Divine Flesh. Uh, Allows everything to bypass your energy shield, which with my build doesn't necessarily matter. But it does make 50% of elemental damage be taken as chaos damage, and gives you plus 5 max chaos res. Um, so yeah, very important that it is Zibakwa. Um, and then yeah, pretty much everything else is standard chaos damage build. I kind of initially came down here and also picked up these damage over time multipliers here, and also had the 10% damage over time multiplier if you've killed recently mastery. That worked out well up until I got my cluster jewel setup going. Um, so I actually leveled with this all the way from 62 um, up until level 88, I believe, before I started making the swap over to cluster jewels. So I did respec some of this. I think I had a few points down here that I respec. And yeah, build worked incredibly well all the way through. I do have some chaos res here as well, and corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Very important to have that. Now I went with a inspired learning here, which I also got really lucky with and got a increased damage roll on it. This cost me, I believe, with the mod, I paid like 95 chaos for it, if I remember correctly. Um, and then, yeah, so just picked up some life here. And then, other than that, this is a pretty standard chaos build. Now, up here on my cluster jewels, I picked up one with Unholy Grace and Wicked Paul. I kind of wish I had a third one on here that pushed Unholy Grace up here, so it would have only cost me 1 point instead of 3. Um, but such is life. This cluster jewel, I believe, cost me like 10 chaos. I think my two mediums cost me something like 3 chaos each, if I remember correctly, at least at the time of this recording. And then I've got 2 small clusters, which these actually ended up costing me like 10 chaos each. But my large cluster, Unholy Grace, Wicked Paul, some attack and cast speed with chaos skills, that works for my blight and essence drain. Then up here on my mediums, I got Flow of Life and Unwaveringly Evil, which I am going to pick up that later as I level up more. But Flow of Life gives me some more max life and some life regen. Then I've got a small passive, or a small cluster jewel up here. It gives me some more effect of my curses, plus Misery of Everlasting for the Despair curse effect. Despair is where a large amount of our damage actually comes from, because it multiplies upon itself by negating enemy chaos resistance. So yeah, total I have like 160% curse effect on that. Yeah, 160% increased effective curse on my Despair aura. So yeah, that was the route that I went. My next couple of levels will actually go into Student of Decay for some more damage over time, and Unwavering Evil for some more increased chaos damage. Which really, at this point, I don't really need it. As of right now, build does incredibly well as it is. Down here, I've got a Megalomaniac, which gives me more Misery Everlasting, and Fettle. So just picked up some more life there, because as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of it. So for the Ascendancies, the route that I went, I actually went Void Beacon into Withering Presence first, then I took Profane Bloom, and last but not least, I took Malediction. This allows me to take advantage of things like Asinus Touch, which curses enemies with temp chains on hit. It also is where more explosion comes from between this and Profane Bloom. Oftentimes you will see things dying way before I even get to them, and I forgot to empty my stash tab, or my inventory. Anyways, so yeah, that will kill things way before you even get to them most of the time. So on my build, or going over my gear here a little bit, I have a wand, which gives me some chaos damage over time, some more increased chaos damage, and some spell damage, which helps only with the blight and essence drain. Does not impact the death aura on this at all, but the chaos damage over time and increased chaos damage does. In my wand, I have essence drain linked with void manipulation and efficacy. That's all that's really needed. That puts me about equal with my death aura on the damage per second currently. Obviously, I still have a few more levels to go on my gems here. I've been leveling everything myself, so that is my wand. Then I chose to go with Sappho's Frame as my shield for the +4 to all maximum resistances. That combined with my jewels and passive tree puts me at 85% chaos res. So I take like next to no damage from pretty much anything. There's very little that gets through to me in the way of damage. So I am relatively tanky. This isn't the tankiest build ever. I would not recommend going and trying to kill uber bosses like this. But for my purposes, it works pretty well. I use it kind of as a magic find character, just like MBXTreme. So along with that, in my shield, I have shield charge linked with life tap. Very important that this life tap is level 1. That way you proc it every time that you shield charge, which I shield charge quite a bit. But as you can see, my life tap comes up pretty quickly, and I have it all the time, which does impact my Death's Aura setup, which I will go over in a minute here. Along with that, I have it linked with faster attacks just to make it quicker getting around the map. So yeah. From there, I am using the Devouring Diadem as my helm. You do not need the increased Despair Curse effect on the helm. Um, that did make this helm pretty pricey. Uh, I think I paid something like an Exalt for this. Um, the reason why I'm using this is one, because I need the strength. The extra 32 strength there puts me just over the minimum requirement for Death's Oath. As you can see, we need 180 strength there. We have 181, so I used this for that, as well as the level of Socketed Gems and the mana reservation efficiency. This allows me to run a little bit extra in the way of auras. I have an almost maxed vitality. I will not be able to actually get it to level 20 because as of right now, I do not have any more mana to work with. But I can still obviously cast my Blight and Essence Drain without issue because of the fact that it also gives me Eldritch Battery. And that puts your energy shield on your mana and allows you to cast your spells using your energy shield. So that is why I went that route. But I am running a high level of Vitality, Determination, Malevolence, and Purity of Elements here. And all of those have the +1 level, as well as the reduced mana or the increased mana reservation efficiency. So that is why I went with this helm, and MBX went with a rare helm, if I remember correctly, on his build. But I chose to go this route just because it does plenty fine as it is, and allows me some more survivability and more sustain as well with level 15 Feast of Flesh. As you're killing things that will consume corpses around you and will heal you and also replenish energy shield as well. Yeah, I really enjoy this helm. That was my choice, and that is what I'm sticking with. So from there, we have two pariahs with white sockets to get some more increased item quantity. And in those, I have a Defiance Banner, which I need to actually fix that and get it 20 qualityed. Unfortunately, I picked this one up from a Val box as I was leveling, and have not swapped it out. But that will give me a little bit more armor, but as you can see, as of right now, I'm sitting pretty comfortably at almost 40k armor, as it is. But the extra effect would be nice. Along with that, I have my Withering Step over here, the other prize, and then I have my Blight set up down here, my Gold Worms. These are just for some more quantity. I got the max roll on that specifically just because that was my main purpose in getting these. And so I have Blight in there. This also is a Val version, so not fully qualityed, and I cannot get it to 21. I am actually currently working on those, my offhands. So I have all my Blights going right here, getting ready to get corrupted in a few more levels. And then, yeah, so from there I have Infused Channeling linked with it, as well as Swift Affliction and Void Manipulation. It does plenty decent DPS for right now. I am not trying to kill uber bosses with this build at all. This is just for magic finding in maps as of right now. And then in my gloves, I do not believe I went over this yet, but I have my Despair Aura linked with Blasphemy, Increased Area of Effect, and Empower. I'm leveling the Empower myself, excuse me. But yeah, as of right now, that is my setup there. And of course, obviously, I don't know if I mentioned it, but Despair has no reservation of cast as an aura thanks to Presence. So that allows me to cast that as an aura. It's in power. Does not increase the amount of mana used because of the fact that it costs no mana in the first place. Now, one key thing about that, though, is... actually, I take that back. Never mind. I'm thinking another build that I play. Yeah, you can cast that and turn it off on accident. No big deal. And then I got really lucky with this belt. Do not need Mage Blood. MBX uses a Bisco's Leash. That will work just fine. I am using the Mage Blood just because I got really lucky and dropped it in a Tier 8 Cold River map. So, yeah. How I got that out of a Delirium Mirror, I will never be able to tell. But, yeah, that was my luck. You do not need this. But all in all, as it stands right now, this build cost me about 5 exalts, minus the belt. The belt is infinitely more expensive than that. But again, that cost me nothing because I dropped it myself. Other than that, yeah, flasks, use basically whatever you feel comfortable with. Sulfur is great because it does increase your damage. And with this belt, it allows me to be able to use it with increased effect. You can do it as well, I suppose, if you ran it manually. But my recommendation would be to use your instilling orbs plus some glass blower baubles on your crafting bench. You can do it really cheap for, I believe it's 5 of each. Yeah. You can use reused at the end of the flask effect, which will basically give you built-in mage blood, because as fast as you're killing things, these will constantly be recharging their charges, and they'll be ready as soon as the flask is over. So there is no issues there either. That is why I say it is possible to use anything other than a mage blood. I just use it because I have it. And I forgot to D&D. I think that's actually a couple of times I've gotten a message and I haven't been paying attention. First ever video, folks. I am not familiar with doing this at all. I just wanted to put out my take on this build. Anyways, I believe that covers everything gear-wise, passives-wise, and links-wise. So let us go and do a map demonstration real quick. I personally enjoy Beach. That is what I usually am running. But this will work on any map. Actually, let's go down. We'll do something a little bit different this time. Sunken City. Let's go Sunken City. Do I have any that are already rolled pretty decently? Oh, this one has pretty decent pack size and everything. So yeah, we'll go run a Sunken City real quick. I run Fortune Favors the Brave all the time just because I am too lazy to really pick. With my Atlas passive tree, I am very heavily invested in increased effect of maps, more item quantity and rarity. I also use Wandering Path, which means my notables do nothing, but I have increased effect of my small Atlas passives. So yeah, I have a bunch of quantity and rarity added to my map, as well as 35% chance for map drops to be duplicated. So I sustain my T16s pretty easily. And I am not particularly set on running a specific map. So yeah, this works just fine for me. So yeah, as you'll see, there's basically no preparation to do other than to start shield charging into packs and get moving. And a lot of times things will die off screen before I even get to touch them. So even though this isn't the tankiest build in the world, it does plenty well enough, uh, because nothing really gets a chance to hit it. So yeah, I just shield charge around, basically like a Righteous Fire build. Uh, that's another build that I've enjoyed playing a lot, which is why when I dropped this chess piece, I really wanted to try and make a build around it. And this is what I came up with. So, yeah, it works beautifully. Um, and of course, being an occultist just kind of was a natural choice because of the fact that it is chaos damage, and occultist has that nice, beautiful popcorn sound of profane bloom, blowing everything up, and yeah, it just works really smoothly. Great mapper. You will see in a second, boss damage is not the best. Um, there are definitely faster boss killers, um, but it does plenty well enough. Again, as a Magic Find character, just running around doing maps, you know, it does plenty enough. Oh, this might be a little rough. I don't know. We will see. I was not expecting to see a spirit in here. We're doing alright. Might as well go and level those up while I'm waiting to be able to kill the boss. And we are... Oops, not done. I lied. Now we're done. Oh, and we got our invitation. And yeah, it's as simple as that. This build does really well for what it's intended for. Um, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of go over that with you guys. Obviously, I still have a little bit of work to do. Kind of behind on this league. I've got 3 kids and a house to maintain, so have not been able to really stay on top of everything this league. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully this video gets out there. Period. And if you did like it, please leave me a comment. Obviously, I am not a big-time YouTuber, so I will try my best to respond. Yeah. You guys have a great day. Bye.